And that's fine.
I never thought
They
about
touch it,
I
so they
think
take care
how
of it.
expensive.
But
You know, there's so many little things that you just don't.
The ramp goes up, you have to have a 5-foot
yeah,
ramp
it's kind of, I mean,
at the top of
the
the
money.
ramp,
Oh, that.
so they can, turn around.
Well, if the football,
So
I
you
mean,
think about,
I don't know what they're.
3 of those rows, but you also have enough people to walk around. So you're talking about, you may have to take out
Then you left, huh?
find somebody else.
Sure have been praying for
over here.
her grandbaby.
Knows that. Appreciate it.
She is beautiful. I'm so glad she's doing better.
Are you, sir?
See, that, I've been getting.
Hey, how you?
Hey there.
We had
so
to
far.
Thank you for the call.
It's told me any different.
Hey, Mr. Adams.
I'm good.
Mrs. Watson.
I read those. I read.
That's good.
You know what though? I looked at it and I said, I read the whole thing and then the signature, I was like, I was like, okay, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's great.
No, I didn't see her otherwise.
Yeah, that's a discussion
So
right
your
there.
office is
I see it both ways. I just really,
across the road.
but you could have the argument.
Oh, that building's always
Bills,
nice.
we own that building. You still have this gym
It's going to.
So how many, that's an old building.
5 o'clock.
by everybody.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, at 5 o'clock, appreciate everyone's attendance. This is a special sessions, April 10th, 2025, 5 p.m., the Lawrence County School System School Board. At this time, I would ask everyone please stand. We'll have a quick moment of silence, and then we'll open with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Ms. Jessica, please call roll.
Adams.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Daniel.
Here.
Dryden.
Here.
Jacobs. Rochelle. Shannon.
Here.
Watson.
Here.
Weathers.
Here.
7 present, 2 absent.
We do have a quorum, so we will continue in the agenda. The next item will be public comment. I was not given any notification of public comment. Have I overlooked anything? There is none, so we'll move into the agenda for the meeting. Budget items for consideration, discussion, and action. Item number 1, Summertown High School ramp for gymnasium. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, this was requested by the board at our March meeting I believe it was the March meeting, to look at this between now and then and now. And Mr. Tucker has consulted with some firms to come in and take a look. And I have some pictures in there for you to kind of get an idea of that setup up there. The ramp was installed this year to assist some of our students. That's not a wide area. That's if you've been in that gym, you know that ramp can come up, but that's about all the space that's available for students and folks who may have trouble walking up the steps. That is on the visitor side. Ms. Jessica, if you'll. And this is on, I believe, the home side, looking from in the gym out to the lobby. And the home side going up to the bleachers there, from the lobby into the home side. On your left is the baseline bleachers, and that area, that baseline bleachers, is where we would consider a ramp or a lift of some sort, but it would be on the guest side. Okay, it would be on the guest side. We have a picture of that one. Again, just to give you an idea, when this gym was built, it wasn't built for certain needs at that time. Throughout the facility, it was not built. This is the baseline bleachers. If you're looking at this picture, you see the step up. We would consider having someone look at this right here to your right, going back towards and out of the frame, would be where a lift would be installed, and 3 to 4 rows of bleachers would be removed. So you would have a lift as you come into the gym on the visitor side that would go up, would have a flat platform, and would take up 3 to 4 rows, which we estimate to be between 25 and 40 seats. So that would be the only place that we think you can make accessibility available in this gym. And Mr. Tucker can speak a little bit more in detail, but this is the baseline bleachers, and you're looking at back towards you is where that ramp that we installed is. So that kind of gives you reference of where right there. So about where that trash can is, Mr. Tucker, is it right in there where that lift would be? It's right up against the wall. I think there's a door there that we would have to work around, but the loss of seating, the removal of that, there may be some code issues that have to be addressed. I don't know, but we just wanted to show you where we are in that process and what we've been looking at, and we haven't really gotten much further than that at the request of the board. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, have Mr. Tucker answer any questions. We just wanted to follow up to let you know that we did start on that immediately and try to get some information as soon as we could to share with the board. We need to continue with this project. We definitely can. We gather some more information at your request.
All right, thank you, Mr. Atkins. Any question for Mr. Atkins and or Mr. Tucker on this project?
So you said a loss of up to 40 seats?
Mr. Tucker, do you want to comment? Because we're thinking it might be 3 rows there, and the width, if you can go back, Mrs. Elledge. Yes.
The baseline or the end zone bleachers has an aisle right through the center of it, and so you would take the top 3, possibly 4 of one side of those end zone bleachers, the visitor side. So if you do the math, as far as measurements, and there's a 18 inches or so, I think. Everybody needs more than that, but if you do that, it could possibly be 25 to 40. The 25 would be if it's 3, the 40 would be if it's 4 rows. So
You're going up top.
the very top, yes.
So you would build a flat platform and you would raise the wheelchair.
The lift up to the top, and it would roll off onto that level platform on the top.
And how many wheelchairs would that hold?
We, I think we figured 6, at least 6 wheelchairs with some companion seats beside them as well. But the reason why it has to be so wide is you'd have to have enough room for the wheelchair, and then for possibly another wheelchair to go behind it. And you've got to have like 32 to 36 inches for a wheelchair. So that's
You're
why
going
it
to
has
take
to be
out
wide.
half, so you're going to take out a quarter of these bleachers.
On one, yeah.
Of the whole end zone, it would be 1/4
Yeah.
worth.
It's about, it's probably fifth, or I would say maybe a 5th or a 6th, but it's, it's a substantial amount of seats that would have to take out just to accommodate a number of.
Has anybody put a price tag on these?
No, we can look at what it costs us to put the lift in at Lawrence County High School. But that's without doing any structural to any bleachers. We know last, 2023, we put a lift over there, and it was about $49,000 to put that lift. But that didn't involve anything structurally to bleachers that we would have to do as well.
How far are we away from building them a new gym in Summertown? Is that down the road, or, I mean, that gym's old, and I played on it, it's narrow, 3-point line, you can barely get to the side. I don't know, we just went to Loretta's this week, it's beautiful. And I know Summertown, they've been talking about a gym. I mean, I know this has to be done as well, but is that something that's in the works that we can make sure it's up to code on those type of, items as well? But I'm not sure what, in the planning phase.
I don't know that question can be answered with this group. I think that question has to be answered with the county commission.
Okay.
But it is a conversation that I, for one, have had, Mr. Atkins have had, other board members, I'm sure, have had those same questions to the county commission. But I like exactly where you're going, Dr. Shannon, and I appreciate that, but that's absolutely. My question, I want to piggyback on top of yours to Mr. Atkins and Mr. Tucker. If we go this route, are we ADA compliant?
Let me let Mr. Tucker think on that one, but to answer Dr. Shannon, you mentioned that we have to. The board's under no obligation to do this. We are grandfathered in through the codes, the requirements. Now, my concern is if we start doing these things, what else are we going to be required to do? I think we need somebody to talk us through that process. I don't know, but it's not like we have a violation on our hands that we have to correct. That hasn't happened. We're grandfathered, but if we start making changes, it may lead to other things, and I would want somebody who's in that line of work to talk us through that.
And I know, and we obviously want to make sure that everyone can attend the games and
Sure.
And things like that, but if we do start pulling things back, are we going to be in a situation like, Kaufman, we've got that area there that it's a real old building, and there's more things pop up. So I don't know if it's the county commission, I'll go and I'll present when they meet. I'll talk to them about that. I don't mind going. So, and y'all know I don't mind talking. So,
And we're adding another grade this year.
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing with the gym there is the space of the middle school utilizing the same gym, and if you go there at 9 o'clock at night, everybody else is at home because South Lawrence has a gym, Loretta has a gym, Kaufman has a gym, Lawrence County has a gym. You go to Summertown, they're sharing the same gym, so they have to really, coordinate logistics for them to even get the gym to get practice, and that's something that, we need to be aware of as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shannon.
Thank you.
To follow those points, because it is my understanding, but to Mr. Atkins' point, I don't know that any of us have that full understanding of, once we open this can of worms, where does it stop? And I believe the board, we're concerned with doing the right thing for our kids and for our community members and that nature, but
They don't have space to kill.
I'm afraid of dumping millions of dollars into this gym when we need to be dumping millions of dollars into a new gym. I'll just throw that out on the table. And I had rather see, my personal opinion, I'd rather see the county commission step up and allocate Lawrence County School System the funding like they did at Loretta for us to build a gym at Summertown High School. So county commission, if you're listening to this meeting, that challenge goes to you. Find us a way to build us a gym so we can accommodate the handicap needs at Summertown High School.
Mr. Daniel,
Yes, ma'am.
there's going to be 3 additional wheelchairs with the 6th grade kids that are coming over. That's just the middle school of what they already have. That would make them have 5 in the middle school. And they can't use the multipurpose building for games, which would be handicap accessible.
We're getting more and more handicapped kids coming into our schools that we need to provide for them. And we want to do what's right by those kids, but we got to do what's right by, I'll make the recommendation that Mr. Atkins and Mr. Tucker continue to explore this. Let's look at the cost of it. Let's look at the full scope of the project, just so we'll have that knowledge and we can say, yeah, we've looked at it. And, you know, just go, I mean, it's not gonna hurt to find out, right?
Chairman Daniel,
Yes, ma'am.
just a couple things. So regardless if we get a new gym, this gym is going to be used. More than likely, it's going to be used by middle school more than the high school, correct? Probably so. But I have one other question. Did we approve work to be done on the little Eagle's Nest area? Did I dream that? The Eagle's Nest area where they have the lighting and they play the music and all that.
Sounds-
I don't remember
I don't
any
remember.
I don't think,
I don't remember anything being
You might
done.
have seen something with the baseball stadium. That was worked on. But that was not,
Yeah, we had a concession, yeah.
I thought we had some volunteers that were gonna do some work on the nest or something.
it was baseball.
Huh?
That was baseball.
has it been recently?
No one understands. Maybe I dreamed that. But anywho, I completely understand what you're saying more than anybody. I truly do. I have been a part of, as I was telling Mr. Tucker, of ADA tours with the state. I've, been a part of all that. But for the life of me, I can't imagine us not making this gym where those students are able to participate fully. If it was one of my children, I would not be happy.
But that's true, but then it doesn't look good for our school system for visiting schools to come in and their kids not be able to access. And that's happened.
Yep.
Yep.
So, Ms. Chucker, I know you can't see what's in front of us, but how many rows up? It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 rows. Is there more than that? Is there on those?
Yeah, there's,
baselines?
I think 2 more. No, that's not a good, no.
You can share mine. See what they're talking about.
I guess that's all of it. You're not much more. You're not more than 2 more beyond what's in this frame.
6 to 8, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
6 or 8.
you're 2 more up above that.
So, and the reason I asked that, I agree with doing something. I don't know what that something is. Those students will be up how high? Because if you're coming off 7, 6, 5, I mean, we're coming down. I mean, right?
They would be,
Where will the platform, the flat part
it
of
could
this
be fixed, I think, different ways, but it could be at the top of the, say, the 4th or 5th row would be, maybe after that it would be leveled off. Of course, the other side would have to have railing put on it. You'd have to have railing in front of them as well.
It can't be down at the base, or can it?
No, it can't, because you have steps that go up to the end zone and to the visitor side there.
And then we have that wall on the baseline as well.
Yeah.
So if you move those out, they're going to be behind a wall. I guess that's what I'm saying. Could you see over that wall? So it may be that it has to be up high.
I think it would interfere with, when you go into the gym, you've got those steps, you have to go up on that visitor side, so you would have, that's why we have it back as far as we can against the wall. And having it back also doesn't mess up with the egress going out.
Okay.
It's tucked away in that corner there, away from the 2 doors.
We need a professional with the ADA knowledge of what else, because I'm questioning, when you put 6 people up there in wheelchairs and you only have that one ramp and you need to evacuate,
Yeah.
what time have you got
Yeah.
to get these people
Yeah,
evacuated?
it may not be. That's what we've asked to be looked into.
We need some legal,
Yeah.
professional advice on,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
This is gonna sound tight, but are there any grants, ADA grants that you can get toward doing stuff like this in an older gym? I mean, is it 100% on us? I mean, can we get any
Good question.
We can,
assistant through, you know,
There may be, we'd have to pursue it.
government?
See.
There may be something due to the age of the building, there might be something significant for buildings over so many years.
we'll look at it. Most definitely.
So I think it's the consensus of the board that we need to continue to explore this and just get a few more of these questions answered. Are there any other questions that we want them to try to get answered for us?
Just long-term plans, one thing I've got in mind, talking new gym later on, and just long-term for this particular facility. I don't see it going away, but on the other hand,
No, but I mean, my question long-term would be, would we still use this for spectation? Or is it just a practice?
Yep.
Because if we're not housing games to where we need spectators in the stands, then we don't need to look at trying to put spectators in the
that's
stands.
what I'm talking about.
If we're going to get a new gym and this is going to be used for practice and for games and PE and all this, that, and the other, then we don't have to,
Sure.
they already have access to the gym floor.
Yeah, there's a lot
So,
of
but
history
to the
there.
long-term
Yeah.
plans of this would be.
So that would mean that in the case we do get a new gym up there, the middle school's gonna play their games in that gym?
That would
Versus
be-
this
that
being
would
the
be the
middle school
assumption.
gym?
In the,
That would be my assumption. I mean, maybe that's a wrong assumption, but
Is there a way to come from the outside? With,
on the end.
Yes, they go, the access for folks in a wheelchair now is through the main entrance of the building. They go through the little ramp there that goes into the right by the theater. That's the access from the outside.
you're talking about from the other
They come
end.
in between the middle and the
I'm just
bathrooms?
thinking
Yes.
On the
Yeah.
end, they come.
outside the box, like if there was a way on the exterior of the gym to do some kind of ramp, something that meets code, that opens, I mean, yes, it would be very far-fetched, but I'm just trying to think outside the box to go from the exterior of the building to ramp it off and not have to.
That's a good thought, Shannon.
I mean-
On that side, could we not build on and like extract some of that wall even, like, because that far side's just a wall, right?
Yes.
And is there not a way to
But you're
build
looking
on
right
that?
over our greenhouses,
There's 2 doors in that.
but
I know
there's
as
still
I've come in
room, I
that
mean,
door,
you can
but I
move a
didn't know what's
greenhouse,
on
but
that.
I think in the past, they've looked at extending that gym out that end. Now, I can't remember what all the thoughts or the roadblocks behind that was. I don't know if Mr. Dryden can remember, but I don't know if the board ever talked about it. I do hear I've heard talks about, Mr. Long, you can speak. They've looked at and talked about extending that gym, but for some reason, that was a no-go.
My understanding was the wall itself was a concern. If they knocked into that wall, what would happen? If you start tearing that wall out or knocking, because I know when they put those doors in and put those fans in, that was a big concern.
Because that's all load bearing on them big heavy beams.
That wall as tall as it is.
And that doesn't really get you anything, because they come straight in on the gym floor. And then you
Yeah.
gotta go up to get to anything on either side. So that
Still gotta
doesn't
get up to
accomplish
the
anything.
bleachers,
No.
yeah. Problem with getting up to the home and visitor bleachers is the length of the ramp that would be required.
Well,
And
And there's no
it-
out of bounds there to put it in.
just not enough room. The ramp would extend all the way, the current entrance way into the lobby, that ramp would have to go all the way into that lobby, and you can't block your egress through the doors with the ramp, so.
Excuse me. Mr. Tucker, has anybody or a representative from ADA explored this at this point?
No, we haven't reached out to anybody like that, but we've had our architect is looking into it, which they're familiar with all they know all.
I'd like to make a
requirements.
move or a motion that we pursue it from that standpoint. It needs to be looked at, so we can get, like, I agree with what Shannon has just mentioned. And I'm not opposed. I also want to go on record as not being opposed to a new gym. I think we need both.
Thank you for that. So do we need to vote on that, or just, the board in consensus wants y'all to continue to explore, let's see what we need to.
I make it a motion if it's
We'll make
needed.
it, we'll make it clear and easy. There's a motion for us to continue to explore this. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Tucker, Mr. Atkins will continue to look through this, get legal representation, get ADA, get everything that we can possibly get, and we'll see where we can go from there. Any last questions before we move on? Thank you. Good discussion. Next item, Eel Kaufman bathroom renovation, the ESG update. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, again, pursuant to the board's request that we take some time and look at this, we have ESG with us tonight, and they can go into some detail. I did share with the board in the weekly update some costs that the system would take on if we complete the project a little bit later. That was one restroom, I believe.
That was us.
Doing all four? Okay, all four. So you have a price in there for us to do all four restrooms over a period of time. Immediately, we would deal with the restrooms that we're working on, but over time, doing all four restrooms with fixtures. That's stalls, sinks, urinals, toilets, ceiling, painting, and flooring that would take place.
What was, before we get started with ESG, and pardon the interruption there, but, so what was, do you have that number, Mr. Tucker? So we're talking about all the stuff that's not included on this quote, 65,000?
That's no labor, that's just material.
That's just materials only, 65,000 in all of these lighting and sinks and painting and floor ceiling partitions,
Yes.
all that. Okay, thank you. Cost to us beyond that. Okay. So,
Take it from there.
yeah, anybody got Mr. Atkins, share with us this breakdown and this update from ESG. So we'll open up the floors for questions. You need some copies? Does anybody, y'all have this, y'all need a copy?
I need a copy.
Right here.
Can we go get a few copies of that, please?
If we can run back through the start, stop, and I know we talked about some changes, and I was concerned about some of the structure changes we'd mentioned. And I'd just like to maybe re-talk about that, and then you guys finishing up to a certain point, and then the school system would finish up the remainder. And then lastly, this is a question not for ESG, but for us, we're going to have a busy summer with Summertown and now Kaufman, and you know, the deadlines are in July, where teachers at Summertown are going to have to be moved in. And I'm really concerned, Mr. Tucker, that our workers have become not maintenance people, but construction folks. So I do talk to you workers, by the way. And so those are some concerns that I have that doesn't have anything to do with ESG, but there's heat on from our parents and our students that I just want to make sure that we're up for the task. Okay? So.
Good points.
Yeah.
Do we need to comment on that, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know Mr. Tucker and Mr. Brown met last Friday to discuss summer projects and a number of other things, and we are prepared to limit their involvement in other projects. Sometimes there's last-minute requests from principals for work to happen, and that we have to step in and say, we can't do that. We already planned the summer for our folks. So we are concerned as well, because things could happen in the school system that we do not foresee, but we do think that they can go in there, we can begin the process of demoing, allow whomever gets this project to come in there and do that structural work, and then us have the items on hand to begin the finishing touches on it. And Ms. Tucker, if you need to speak to any of that meeting last Friday, please do.
Yeah, we have a list. Backwards, obviously, Kaufman and then the Summertown Circle would be our priorities as far as our maintenance is concerned. We're going to limit anything beyond that. The bathrooms at Summertown, or at E.O. Kaufman, they have been without some of these restrooms, but some of the work, we would love to finish it all during the summer, but if we could get two of the restrooms back up before school, that would pretty much put them at the same footing as they're at right now. And then if worst case scenario, we would carry over, we'd have to do our finishing into the school year, but we would ideally shoot to have all four of them, if at all possible. But if we only got two, we would still be in decent shape.
Yeah.
Mr. Cox, anything that you want to present to the board before we maybe start firing questions at you?
Just a few things from our last discussion. You asked us to do some research and get back with you, so we have done that. As you can see, the pricing, number one, was a concern. Would our contractors continue to hold the pricing? We did contact all those that are involved currently in the project. They did agree to hold the pricing. However, every day that we move kind of, puts them in a worse position. Yeah. So, but they have agreed, they knew we were coming tonight. They have agreed to hold the pricing at what you have here.
And that is the $399,841.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
that is under a zero change order policy.
That is the policy that we have, unless there is something like a building commission or a codes thing or something that we don't know about that would cause us or require us to do that. But we think we have everything covered with that.
Okay.
The second thing was, could we finish and get before school started? We did contact our contractor. He said, obviously, the quicker we can get started, the better we are, but he did not see an issue with it getting completed so that you could start school in August.
Okay.
So that would be a yes on that. As far as the plans go, we've been in contact with our current architect. We also contacted another partner architect to ask how would he handle that. Number one, if the plans came to you, could you take them to another architect? He said, well, another architect cannot stamp legally somebody else's plans. So no, that would not be, I said, well, how would you handle that? And he said, we would not take somebody else's plans. We would want to start and do our own because, in his words, we kind of have, we want to do our own work.
So, let me break it down for me in layman's terms. Basically, those plans would be useless unless we went with the
I would not advise you to
Yes.
buy the plans.
Thank you.
No. As far as the work and the shared work, we went back through, you can see the scope that we would handle, the scope that you would handle. We're not touching the sinks and the vanities and things of that type. We are touching the toilets and the urinals and things of that type, so we would put those back in. So the things that we are touching in that scope with the restrooms and the piping, and we would make sure those are back in where they need to be. But on the other side, on the lower bathroom where the vanities are, as far as taking off the demo, that would be your part, or putting those back, that would be your part. We would not be touching that at all. So, and then we did reach out to some local contractors again that we reached out to the first time. They are working on giving us some pricing. They still have a lot of questions and concerns about the structural nature of the project. We've provided that information. They said they just weren't able to give us anything for tonight's meeting, but that they would get us something. So if that's reflective of, a price difference that's in your favor and all things being equal, then we would adjust that, to be in your favor. So we're waiting on that information back.
On number 8, reuse existing inlet and outlet infrastructure. Can you speak to that?
Jared might be able to speak to that more. Jared Carlson is our engineer.
I'm assuming the infrastructure is of the age of the building. Is that what we would assume?
So when I refer to the infrastructure, we are not drilling any new holes in that concrete floor. So all the existing holes will be reused for the PVC wastewater piping.
Okay.
Now, is that different than the original plan?
No, that,
Okay.
well, the original plan, we were going to be providing some different locations for those toilets because the upstairs restroom was going to be converted to a female restroom versus what it is now is a male restroom. And so there were going to be new drain locations for those ones, but
From the scope.
From this scope, it has not-
Right.
This is the same.
correct.
Existing water lines, they're, are up to code?
As far as we know right now.
Yes,
They are.
that is the
The
assumption.
supply water lines? And so we're only talking about 2 restrooms, upstairs and downstairs on one side. What about the other side?
We're not.
Yeah, that's probably for the,
There will be some renovations over there, but there's not structural work taking place over there.
Cosmetic.
Yeah, cosmetics,
Is
yeah.
it the same kind of construction in those as in these?
that's kind of where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're,
When we did our original evaluation
Assessment.
and design and assessment, so that bathroom was added in the 80s. It was originally a stairwell, I believe, and then the stairwell was added onto the new addition through those doorways. So that is a little bit different construction in there, and it has PVC piping for the wastewater. It does not have cast iron, so there hasn't been as the structural issues.
so the ceiling's not chipping or flaking away and none of that stuff?
That's correct.
So are we gonna recondition all 4?
Yes, sir.
Is that
Yeah, but-
what we're doing?
But they're only touching 2.
I got you.
So we're basically just going to give the newer 2 a facelift. Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
And that'll be in this project.
Yes, the amount of money that was in the weekly update, Mr. Tucker confirmed that earlier, that is for 4 restrooms. The 2 that ESG would go in and structurally work on, they would have new partitions, new sinks, new toilets, new urinals, a new paint job, new ceiling tile, and I think we're going to epoxy the floor. That would take place on those 2 that they're responsible for. And then either before school starts or during the school year, those other 2 that are not an issue would be given a facelift.
Mr. Long, what kind of condition are those other 2 in? Are they usable?
They're 1980 restroom.
Are they functional today?
They are functional.
Okay.
Are you and you're using them today?
And Mr. Adams, to give you kind of a little bit of update, we have been renovating restrooms in Lawrence County for several years now. And so Mr. Long's, though dated, there are some that are in a little more need than his, but we would eventually have all of them.
Okay. What I'm getting at is I hurt for these kids and the teachers. These restrooms need to be ready as we promised before school starts next year. And that's why I'm questioning Mr. Tucker about his team, getting that work done, even to the point of if we have to hire it done, let's get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to head the horse in the right direction.
Well, I believe, of course, we can continue this conversation around these bullet points if you ask, or if we so desire, but I believe from the last, you want to,
Let me finish.
the things that were on the table, the 3 options that we had to look at, was either go with ESG with this project, was either buy those plans and pay off ESG and go our own way, or forget about the plans and pay off ESG and go our own way again. That was around a $40,000 payoff, an $80,000 for the plans and the payoff, and then this $400,000 to move forward. Is everybody shaking their head? So that is what's on the table that we got to decide tonight, or that's what we're here to decide tonight. So, and we kind of already established with Mr. Cox that plans, you might as well take it off the table because that would be useless to Lawrence County school system if we bought plans and didn't use them.
Correct.
So Now you're down to two choices, either the $40,000 payoff and we go somewhere else and figure out another way, another option, or we go with them for this $400,000 plus the $65,000. Now that $65,000 is just for these two restrooms. All four. So this $65,000 gives the other two the facelift and comes in here and finishes that project. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we accept the ESG 399. I think
See
if
if we can do
we,
anything different.
I personally think if
Damage
we don't, I'm not saying that we're being strong-armed here, but I'm saying that if we don't, then we're starting from scratch, dude. We might as well put a year on this thing instead of it being ready for next school year.
I second on that.
I'm in on
that.
I went over and looked at it this week, and that's a disaster of a place. I wouldn't want to be responsible for overseeing
And then the
that.
finished work we can look at down the road, but yeah, I think right now what's on the table, we gotta go with what.
Before we entertain a motion, let me ask one last question that has been going around in updates and in communications. Electrical. Of course, we have Ms. Jacobs, who's unable to be with us tonight, but she's very in tune with electrical. But there's an electrical panel on the back side of or in the closet that's touching this. Has all that been in consideration, and are we squared away electrically?
Our work will not handle any electrical work. It's purely structural and plumbing.
Is there any need for electric? So I'm throwing that question out. In y'all's assessment, and I think when I walked around with you, you showed me that and you brought something up about the electrical. So what is the concern?
Well, I think in the original plan, the original number that they came back with was the electrical, and then I think when y'all asked them to go back and cut, that was something that was cut.
We did have new exhaust fans, new lighting, new HVAC, heating and air conditioning, in those bathrooms, which required new feeds and new electrical, and we were going to be modifying some of that electrical.
So you took out those exhaust fans, HVAC, and lighting.
That's correct.
Is that something that we're taking on?
We'll have lighting, and then we'll use what's existing there.
We'll use what's existing adequate.
I think,
It works.
yeah.
HVAC, exhaust.
I don't think we have exhaust
There is no exhaust in there.
There's exhaust.
There is exhaust. Okay. But all that, to your knowledge, is functional.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we feel safe that not moving that panel doesn't need to be moved or anything electrically. We're saying, just for the record.
We can do our work without moving the panel.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion around this?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
We are paying for this out of which fund balance or
You want me to talk about it?
fund balance?
And what is that balance?
It's around 17 million currently.
Thank you. Any other questions for the ESG guys? And I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry.
Jared Carlson.
Jared Carlson. Thank you, Jared.
Thank y'all for coming.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
guys,
thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah, I got a question for Mr. Long. Other immediate projects inside of Kaufman, not a wish list, but things that are urgent that we need to think about?
This is the most urgent. I mean, everything else can be scheduled.
Okay.
All right, I'll give one last opportunity for any more questions or comments. If none, I'll entertain motions.
Kurt got a motion.
Oh, we have a motion.
Weathers.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Mr. Weathers
Motion and a
made a
second.
and a second.
Yes, sir.
All right, please call roll. And this motion, just for will you repeat that motion?
Is to accept this ESG bid to do that structural work.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Ms. Jessica, please call roll.
Adams,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Weathers,
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. We will go under contract with ESG. Roll up your sleeves and get to work.
Yes, sir.
You got till July the whatever date. As I'll go ahead and, on behalf of the board, ask, as we are asking all of our contractors, we do request somebody, a representative from your company, be at our monthly meetings to give updates on timelines.
Yes, sir.
Because we really, as Mr. Adams stated, we've got a busy summer, and we're trying to help out the system to make sure that we hold your feet to the fire.
Yes, sir.
So, please, thank you.
We'll be here.
Any last comments or discussions before we dismiss?
Remember the Rochelle family?
Yes, please
And-
remember the Rochelle family as his father
Chad.
passed away yesterday.
Chad is the proud father of a young lady that has flown off to Air Force boot camp, and as a parent that's done that with a child, it's tough. Remember them in your prayers.
Yeah, I'm gonna gain about 15 pounds just sitting around depressed eating.
Okay.
I'm proud of her, she's doing good.
Well, congratulations on that. That's great. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.